Story 1. The Forgotten Echoes. A night of terror in the abandoned school. The moon hung high in the ink-black sky as I stood before the crumbling facade of Crestwood Elementary, a school long forgotten by time. It was said that something sinister lurked within those decaying walls, and the weight of anticipation pressed upon me like an invisible hand. A morbid curiosity drew me closer, despite the chilling whispers that warned of the terrors that awaited me inside. With each step, the rusted gate groaned under the weight of my trepidation. The air grew thick with an otherworldly energy, as if the very atmosphere recognized the impending descent into darkness. As I pushed open the heavy entrance doors, a shudder traveled down my spine, a foreboding sense of unease that amplified with each creaking hinge. The school's interior lay swathed in an inky darkness, broken only by slivers of moonlight that filtered through cracked windows. A musty odor of decay permeated the air, mingling with the scent of forgotten books and stale memories. My footsteps echoed through the abandoned hallways, a lonely symphony that awakened the dormant spirits. Silent whispers, barely audible, danced on the fringes of my consciousness. They whispered secrets from a bygone era, the tortured echoes of long-departed souls seeking solace or retribution. Shadows flitted at the edges of my vision, flickering and dancing to a rhythm only they could hear. I ventured deeper into the heart of the school, each corridor an endless maze that twisted and turned, defying logic and sense. Portraits of past principals stared at me with hollow eyes, their presence an eerie reminder of authority long since extinguished. The air grew colder, and I could feel an unseen presence closing in. A faint light drew my attention, guiding me towards an open doorway. I entered a classroom frozen in time, its walls adorned with faded posters and abandoned desks. The flickering glow emanated from an old television, its screen filled with a distorted image of a playground in disrepair. As I approached the television, static crackled through the speakers, punctuated by intermittent whispers that pierced the silence. Faces of children, distorted and ethereal, flickered on the screen, their eyes filled with sadness and longing. Their tiny voices called out, begging for release from their spectral imprisonment. Fear clutched my heart, but curiosity pushed me forward. With trembling hands, I reached out to touch the television, and the room around me warped and twisted, transforming into a twisted reflection of the past. The children materialized, their figures transparent, and they beckoned me to join their spectral game. Innocent laughter turned to haunting echoes as the game evolved into a sinister charade. The walls closed in, trapping me within a nightmarish carousel of despair. The children's faces contorted, their once gentle smiles now twisted into macabre grins. They whispered secrets of pain and anguish, their voices echoing through the recesses of my mind. As panic gripped me, I fought to break free from the spectral trap. With every ounce of strength, I tore myself away from the haunting presence, stumbling out of the room and into the labyrinthine corridors once more. But the whispers followed, an unrelenting symphony of sorrow and torment that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. In a desperate attempt to escape, I ran towards the exit, my pounding footsteps echoing through the hollow hallways. The darkness seemed to stretch before me, an abyss that threatened to consume my very soul. With one final surge of adrenaline, I burst through the doors and stumbled out into the moonlit night, gasping for breath. Story 2. The Wailing Silence. A descent into madness at Ravenswood Academy. It was a dreary afternoon as I approached the foreboding gates of Ravenswood Academy, a place whispered about in hushed tones of fear and trepidation. The school, once a beacon of knowledge, now stood as a haunting reminder of its dark past. Legends of sinister happenings and unexplained phenomena permeated the halls, and curiosity had led me to uncover the truth that lay within. The heavy entrance doors groaned as I pushed them open, the scent of dampness and decay wafting through the air. The interior greeted me with an unsettling stillness, broken only by the distant sound of a single faucet dripping. Shadows danced along the dimly lit corridors, their movement casting a macabre ballet upon the worn linoleum floors. The first classroom I entered felt frozen in time. Dust-covered desks stood as silent witnesses to forgotten lessons, while cracked chalkboards bore the remnants of unfinished equations. An eerie sensation washed over me as I explored further, the weight of unseen eyes following my every move. A sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut, trapping me within the claustrophobic confines of the classroom. Panic gripped my chest, constricting my breath as I strained to open the door, but it refused to yield. Whispers, barely audible at first, swirled through the air, their chilling words seeping into my consciousness. I turned my attention to the blackboard, where strange symbols began to etch themselves upon the surface. Letters rearranged themselves, forming cryptic messages that spoke of a dark secret held within the school's walls. A cold, bony hand grasped my shoulder, sending a jolt of terror through my veins. With trembling hands, I reached for my flashlight and directed its beam towards the source of the touch, but there was nothing. No physical presence, only the overwhelming sensation of icy fingertips trailing along my skin. Goosebumps prickled on my arms as a disembodied voice whispered in my ear, Stay with us." I fought against the paralyzing fear, pushing through the door and into the desolate hallway. Each step sent reverberations through the silence, amplifying my unease. The air grew thick and oppressive, as if a malevolent force sought to suffocate me within its grip. The library beckoned, its rows of bookshelves standing like sentinels guarding ancient tomes. The flickering light bulbs cast eerie shadows that danced upon the walls, creating a distorted menagerie of shapes. I approached a dusty book, its pages filled with arcane knowledge, and as I reached out to touch it, the world around me shifted. Books flew off the shelves, their pages rustling with an otherworldly force. The room filled with a chorus of spectral whispers, the disembodied voices of countless students forever trapped in this spectral realm. Their stories merged into a cacophony of despair, recounting the horrors that had befallen Ravenswood Academy. A spectral figure materialized before me, a former teacher whose eyes bore the weight of countless sorrows. In a voice tinged with grief and regret, she revealed the dark truth of the school's past. A malevolent entity had taken root within its walls, feeding on the innocence of its students, twisting their spirits into tormented echoes. As the figure faded back into the shadows, I raced through the corridors, desperate to escape the suffocating grip of Ravenswood Academy. The walls seemed to close in, their peeling wallpaper a mocking testament to the decay of both the building and the souls trapped within. Finally, I burst through the entrance doors, gasping for breath in the cool. Story 3. The Haunting of Hollowbrook High, a tale of lost souls. I stood before the dilapidated Hollowbrook High, a relic of a forgotten era, its decaying walls holding the secrets of the past. The afternoon sun cast long shadows that stretched across the desolate courtyard, intensifying the eerie silence that enveloped the premises. Reluctantly, I pushed open the rusted doors, their screeching protest echoing through the empty halls. Inside, a suffocating stillness hung heavy in the air, broken only by the occasional creak of worn floorboards underfoot. The scent of mildew mingled with the faint remnants of adolescent dreams, reminding me of the vibrant energy that once thrived within these walls. Now, it was a haunting emptiness that clung to my every step. As I ventured deeper into the labyrinthine corridors, a chill crept up my spine, as if unseen eyes were watching my every move. Portraits of former students and staff adorned the walls, their faded faces frozen in time. Their hollow gazes seemed to follow me, penetrating my soul with their unspoken tales of despair. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows that danced on the walls, distorting the reality around me. Whispers, barely audible at first, echoed through the desolation, carrying fragmented echoes of long-forgotten conversations. I strained to catch their words, but they eluded me, teasing me with their tantalizing presence. A door at the end of a dimly lit hallway beckoned me forth. The wood groaned in protest as I pushed it open, revealing a classroom frozen in time. Dust-covered desks stood in perfect alignment, their surfaces marred only by the passage of time. It was as if the room had been suspended in a perpetual state of anticipation. Curiosity propelled me forward, drawing me toward an old, weathered chalkboard. Etched upon its surface were cryptic symbols and swirling patterns that seemed to shift in right of their own accord. As I traced the markings with trembling fingers, a chilling gust of wind rushed through the room, extinguishing the feeble light. Darkness enveloped me, and a deafening silence descended. Panic clawed at my throat, threatening to suffocate me. In the pitch-black void, whispers swirled, their voices rising and falling in a maddening crescendo. They spoke of tragedy, of lives lost and souls trapped within the very foundations of the school. A distant flicker of light pierced the darkness, guiding me to a hidden staircase. Each step sent tremors through the worn wooden steps, amplifying the tension that quilled within me. The stairs seemed to stretch endlessly downward, leading me further into the heart of the school's grim history. The lower level revealed a labyrinth of forgotten corridors, their walls adorned with faded murals and shattered glass. A sense of dread washed over me, as if the darkness itself possessed a malevolent sentience. Whispers grew louder, their disembodied voices intertwining, weaving a tapestry of anguish and despair. Through the murkiness, I stumbled upon a forgotten library, its shelves lined with decaying books that whispered ancient secrets. As I reached out to touch a tome, the room came alive with spectral apparitions, their translucent forms swaying in a macabre dance. They beckoned me closer, their ethereal fingers extending towards me. A cacophony of voices echoed through the chamber, revealing the tragedy that had befallen Hollowbrook High. It was here, in this very library, that a dark ritual had taken place, unleashing an unspeakable evil that consumed the souls of both students and teachers. Their restless spirits were forever bound to this forsaken,